Harry Styles, my policeman. We've been talking about him a lot this year,
There goes
Dave.
that man once again.
I mean, he's having quite the 2022 so far. Huge album, two huge movies, blowing up all over TikTok during his tour. He's everywhere. People love Harry Styles, and he keeps pushing his way and just pushing his way into movies, and just always kind of feels like, is this really the right direction for him? And that brings us to My Policeman, um, directed by Michael Grandage, starring Styles, Emma Corrin, and Linus Roach. No, sorry, David Dawson. I
hmm
was looking at the other
Emma
name there.
Corrin, of course, famous for being Diana on The Crown on Netflix.
And so, a lot of anticipation about this movie. I think, especially because when we talked about Harry a few weeks back with boy, I'm blanking on the name.
Don't
Sorry, Don't
worry,
Worry, Darling.
darling.
So, of
Bro,
course, Don't
you
Worry,
worried.
Darling. I was not so worried just because that nothing to be worried about here. But um, there was rumors that his performance there got kind of panned, but my policeman is really going to show off his acting
He's they,
chops.
they they definitely said he was better in My Policeman than Don't Worry, Darling. That was a pretty common refrain when Don't Worry, Darling came out, which we also reviewed. Check that out. But now My Policeman is out. Was in limited release. Now it's out on Amazon Prime Video. Anyone can watch it. And Pat, was Harry Styles better than he
Fuck
was in
no,
Don't Worry, Darling?
fuck no, Dave. This is like he comes across as like very nice in every scene and
Hmm.
like pretty affable like overall, but there's just no substance to him as a character, and he should be the most interesting character in this whole movie. As Tom, the middle of this love triangle between Patrick and Marion, his
The
wife.
Policeman.
Yeah, in a bisexual person in the 1950s.
Mhm.
Um, he should be a person that we're learning a lot about, and that we're exploring like what it means to be in this love triangle, what it means to be a bisexual person during this time, and especially because it seems like um, the his gay fantasies and his gay proclivities are things that he was not aware of up until meeting this person, and it just kind of
Yeah.
gets like whitewashed, and it's like, okay, all of a sudden he's bisexual and he's cool with it, and
Yeah.
after like a 5 minute like drunken scene, it's like, okay, now this is just who he is.
Yeah.
I just feel
People
like
come to those conclusions in many ways.
that's
Who
true,
among
that's true.
us? But yeah, I agree that it's definitely a movie that lacks substance. I think just overall, like Harry aside, My Policeman is just a very straightforward period gay drama, meaning everything that's going to happen because it's set in the past. Queer people can't be themselves. They are going to be persecuted and targeted by the police and shunned by society. Sure enough, that's exactly what happens. Nothing new shown here, and there's nothing even that fun about the stuff that's not solemn and dreary because, like, the sex scenes aren't steamy at all. They're super tame and, like, how do you like not show dick in the nudity scenes? Like, are we still doing this? Like, it's a
Yeah,
gay relationship and they don't show any dick? Are you kidding me?
I gotta be honest, because the first time that they like actually hook up, I think they barely even show them kissing, and I was like, oh, they're really gonna like do this behind closed doors. They're just not even gonna commit. And then there's a few scenes where you at least like see them like riding each other and things like that. So I was like,
Yeah.
this is as close as I bet Harry
Was
would
that
really let
Harry's
them
ass
get.
or was it a prosthetic?
I don't know, but his wig was great in this. I'll tell you that much.
And I think the thing that could have been the saving grace for My Policeman was the fact that there is this present day uh, setting in the script where we're with these three characters as older adults. So that like nobody dies, but things do happen from where they all are situated, and that perhaps could have had a way to frame the story in a more interesting way, but I don't think it adds really much of anything at all. And like, spoilers, but like at the ending few frames where it's like the reconciliation of sorts, I just don't think it really lands because they just don't do enough work in the past tense stories to like make that relationship feel like a whole lot. It's really just kind of going through these motions that you very quickly recognize, and there's just little else to really liven it up. I don't mind conventional stories, things I can predict. I don't care if it's fun to be with and interesting, but this just wasn't that enjoyable to sit with, and nor is it like a great statement on like uh you know queer life back in the day. It's really, it has nothing going for it.
Yeah, having the older actors, you think that there's going to be some sort of explanation as to like the feelings that Tom has with Patrick being, so sick, but he really is just angry, and it's never totally. At least maybe I missed it, but is it explained why like he's so angry at Patrick, even though like the way things left off, where like Patrick was in jail and Tom just wouldn't go see him and is like, okay, I need to like commit to my straight marriage now. Like it just kind of felt like those feelings weren't explained at all. And then you get the scene where older Patrick, or sorry, older Tom is crying in the car because he sees the gay couple walking by, and it's pretty clear that he's like not letting himself actually explore these feelings. I think that whole piece was kind of a mess. And then in thinking about like Marion as a character, um, it's pretty like black and white with her, which is kind of surprising given that she's somebody who, is like very interested in art and is not necessarily at the beginning of the movie painted as like a, you know, prim and proper little schoolgirl. Like she's definitely like in some ways like flirting with Patrick when she doesn't know that he's gay, and like it seems like there's like, this edginess or this like other side to her, and then pretty quickly she just like turns and is like, no, I can't accept gay people at all, which just feels kind of out of left field as well, especially the scene with her friend who's like, you really like don't know I'm gay as well, like
Yeah,
just a
it was
lot
just
of
like
like,
she was just like jealous and like basic petty shit. It's like, okay.
yeah, there's just like really not a lot there to hold on to. I'm even trying to think about like the scenes, like, I thought, for example, their marriage scene, right, where you see that like the wedding and Patrick has to give a toast. I was like, oh, there's gonna be something here. He's gonna like drop some hints or something. No, just a
Right.
pretty straightforward toast. Like, hey, you guys are a great couple. Okay, what
Way
are we
better in
drinking?
House of the Dragon, where you get all the
Yeah,
side eye and the people figuring shit out. There's nothing going on in My
there's
Policeman.
there's just nothing here, man. Yeah, I mean, Styles, I mean, obviously tapped to be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe
hmm
moving forward.
That's the only thing on his schedule. Not that he has a specific movie coming up for that yet, but like he has no other projects publicized at this time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what I would want him to do. I guess maybe like go do some bit parts in some ensemble films. Like you think about like when Christopher Nolan did Inception and Tom Hardy really just like blows off the screen. You think something like that where he just gets to come in for like a few scenes, be super charming and just
Yeah,
like be like electric for like one or two
because he's
moments.
obviously handsome, so he could pull it off if he had the role and he had the chops to do it. But maybe he just doesn't have the chops. We don't know.
Yeah, I feel like something like that would be like the layup for him, though.
Right?
All of this other stuff is like you're really
Yeah.
exposing yourself,
You're
bro.
yeah, you're way out of your depth with something this dramatic and
Yeah,
this aspirational. Like this
yeah,
is
and
definitely not it.
Grandage only has one other film to his name. He's a very prolific British uh, stage director, and I feel like he, was a little out of his depth on this as well because, the last one was a movie that had Jude Law and Colin Farrell in it called Genius, and
Mm.
I think having those actors, you can kind of clean up some of a director's inexperience, but this is just like the direction, the writing on this just did not work out as at all.